Although it's a light dolly news, we still have doll news though. Hola, high fashion doll lovers. My name is Christopher y bienvenidos to my channel. Oh, I'm feeling a little extra spicy. I wonder if it's because I want more doll news than what I got, but I'm still happy with what I got, so I'm gonna give it to you. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be covering the Nausea from Jason Wu that I'm sure a lot of people have been wondering my thoughts on. I'm also going to be sharing some further thoughts on the Defa Lucy Studio dolls. If you've been catching my shorts, I've already spoken about them, but I'll dive a little deeper in this video, as well as the new Disney Illy Forever Stitch doll that honestly was not on the bingo card. So let's get into the doll news for today. Okay, I usually like to start with like budget to above, so I'm gonna keep that trend going in this video. So first up in this video, we have the Defa Lucy Studio Playline. Let me be specific and say Playline because obviously she's now graduated to collector, so she has two different lines. So we first were introduced to the pink one that you've already probably seen. I'll include her here along with the purple. I'll just put the collage so you can see them both together. Now, I did make a comment when the purple one came out because I was just like, okay, we've had two blondes back to back. That's a little too much. It's 2025. I like a lot of diversity, not a little, a lot. So it feels like maybe someone in the Defa Lucy team has been watching me. Hi, if you are. Because the third doll that was introduced was finally a doll of color. Okay? It is very obvious that these dolls are inspired by that like iconic supermodel photo from the 90s with like the knitwear, the metallic bottoms. So I love that we're getting that in a play line. Mattel kind of recently did that, but not fully. You know, their Barbie Looks doll did have that purple doll with the like top and the metallic skirt that was longer, but the line overall wasn't giving that. This line is really celebrating that iconic 90s photo. So I'm very intrigued to see if there are other dolls coming out in this line. Mostly because, again, diversity. I love it. I would love to see a redhead. I love when redheads are included. I would love to see someone with a little bit of an Asian flair. I say a little bit of an Asian flair just because I feel like a lot of the molds are already there. And usually when you think Asian, it's just jet black hair with like a red lip. Let's not do a red lip, okay? That's a little too overdone. The black hair is a staple, but Defa, you've been doing some great jobs with some neutral screenings. Let's give the Asian girl some neutral screening. Okay, thanks. As well as a Latina. I'm now asking for a Latina because your collector line gave me a little bit of everything. You know, wait, hold on. Yes! I was like, did you give me a redhead? The first one from the collector line was a redhead. So, I'm very excited about this line. I've obviously spoken about them on my shorts, but I wanted to like sit down more carefully, more calmly, and really just give you a more chilled back conversation on these dolls. With the shorts, it feels like I have to move kind of quickly, so I'm not able to kind of like relax and have a conversation, if you may. So I'm very excited about this line. I hope there are other dolls coming. I have yet to purchase any of them for multiple reasons, but the big one being, you know, that's not actually the big one, but a main reason I haven't purchased them yet is because, as I mentioned in my shorts, they're currently only available in AliExpress here in the US. For some apparent reason, their contract with Shein in the US seems to be completely canceled. They're not on the Shein app whatsoever. So I haven't really purchased from AliExpress. I'm a little apprehensive there, but that's just one of the current hurdles that it's facing me with Defa Lucy's playline. You know, before I started processing what I was going to say, it hit me that I feel like lately a lot of my doll news have Disney Illy Forever, and that's because I'm a Disney Illy Forever lover, okay? So if you're new to this channel, I support Disney Illy Forever here deeply because I am a Disney adult, if you didn't know. But also the quality of Jakks Pacific's Disney Illy Forever dolls are just chef's kiss. So a few weeks ago, I want to say, we were introduced to that there will be introduced to the will be. That line didn't sound like it worked very well, but we were introduced to the new dolls for 2025. The first image was of the Moana inspired doll, which I have shared my thoughts in a short. Here she is, a stunning girl giving great resort wear, just beautiful. On Moana's box in the back, I hope to still have that image. I'm gonna have to find it. We saw that in the lineup for Moana. There will also be an I Love Winnie the Pooh and another Rapunzel doll. Cool. I've been checking the website that released these images on the daily, sometimes multiple times a day, to see images of either the Winnie the Pooh one or the Rapunzel one. Color me surprised when I went on the website and I saw this. This was not on the bingo card. Mostly I say not on the bingo card for multiple reasons. Okay? Reason one, she is not featured in that image in the back of the Moana box, and she obviously is of the same lineup. I say obviously because she is not a deluxe doll. The Moana doll and this Stitch doll are not. If you hear the beeping of the truck, I am filming this in the daytime. I'm doing something different. Apologies. I live in New York City. Back to the doll. She is not featured in the back of the box of the Moana doll. We only see I Love Winnie the Pooh and Rapunzel. So this was unexpected. Another reason why this is unexpected for me personally, as someone who's purchased them, we've already had 2 Stitch dolls. Both were deluxe dolls, right? Yeah, both of them were deluxe dolls. So I don't understand why we're still making more Stitch when there is so many more characters to play with. I'm currently waiting on so many people in this line that I'm just kind of like, why another Stitch? Why the honking, New York? Why the honking now? Is it because you're trying to tell me like Stitch is it and I just gotta accept it? That's probably what it is. Honestly, and you know, I was saying this to a friend before I started filming, and my friend was like, you know, why don't they ever do a Lilo doll? Lilo doll. I said Lilo. Lilo. I hope it stopped. I hope it's over because I'm over it. I had to take a break. It just wouldn't stop. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So I was talking to a friend of mine and he was very curious as to why it's called Lilo and Stitch. However, we've only gotten Stitch dolls. And I also questioned that, similar to him, because I feel like Lilo's outfit is so cute, and I think with the live action movie that just came out, it would be really cool to see that instead of a Stitch if we're gonna be keeping the momentum with this particular movie. And I don't know if it's because maybe the designers over there at Jack Specific like certain characters more than others, because I also did question when the Moana one came out, why there's another Rapunzel when we've already had a deluxe Rapunzel. I'm like, dude, like the surfer guy in me that said dude, like why would I say dude? Where's my princess line? Like, can I get, you know what, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna share it because what I really need is someone at Jack Specific to give me a call because I have a lot of ideas and I need a lot of characters done. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that because if I start talking, I'm gonna be giving free consultations here and I don't want to give a company that should be hiring me free consultations. Just saying. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the doll that I'm sure many of you have been waiting for my comments, and let me tell you something, I have a lot of them. Okay, Christopher, calm down, because we want to make sure we get everything across for Naja. Okay, I think I feel good now. Whew, let's get into this. Am I comfortable? I think I'm comfortable. I'm gonna lean on the chair a little bit. I should lean on this way because I usually put the pictures there. First, I want to say this was not totally unexpected, simply because as a W Club member, it was mentioned that some things would be rolling out soon. So after the FR monogram, it was soon to be expected something else would come out. I was, however, not expecting it to be a Jason Wu doll. But what I was expecting less than that was it being Jason Wu doing FR and me being interested. Never in a million years did I think Jason Wu would release something that I would be interested in. And although it's not perfect, it is good. It is really good. Okay, I'm going to start with the positives. And the positive is that I've skipped the stats. See, I told you, I calmed myself down, but I still am all over the place. All right, let's give you the stats that I did not write down on paper for myself when I started filming this video. Optic Gold is the name of this doll. I believe she'll be released winter 2025. It's usually around the release of everyone else. And now I feel messed up that I don't have things written down. I just jumped right into this video. And you know what? I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to do my best to give you a screenshot with the prices for non-members and members. I can say, because I do remember, that this doll is less than the previous Jason Wu doll, thankfully. But there was mention of like the current state of the world in there. So obviously pricing could be different. But here are the full stats that I was unprofessional enough to actually write down for you and give you that, okay? I apologize deeply, but like I knew that I just wanted to talk about it and I just wanted to get into it, and life on the other side of the camera has been, yeah, okay. Back to nausea. Like I said, I want to start with the positives, and the positive for me is she is stunning. And when I say she is stunning, I mean that face, that screening, that hair, it got it all. I think Nausea, due to how much she is used and produced, is becoming one of those face melts that I have a lot of, and I'm not upset about that. And at first, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I saw the image, I thought it was Ayumi. I really did. Something about the light honey and the blonde, it took me to Cool Kid Ayumi, and I was like, oh, I already got this doll. But then I read, and I watched the presentation, for those that told me to watch last time, I watched it. And then they had the nerve to say it's the first time she's ever been done in light honey. You can't say things like that to me, because then it's an automatic yes, because that means I don't have Nausea in light honey, and now I'm gonna have her. And I actually really like the combination of the skin with this golden hair. It's just absolutely chef's kiss. I actually do not want to have a project with her. I don't want to change anything about it. And that is what I think about first. If I love the doll as she is, it's almost automatically a yes for me, because I think that's the hardest thing to do. You know, especially being in the US, repainters are not as accessible to me. A lot of them are overseas. I'm thankful to have a friend that does reroute, so that usually is an easier project. But I really do look at the doll as a whole first, and then I look at the clothing. Clothing is secondary because I'm usually redressing them, so it is what it is. So here with Nausea, in the screening, in this hair, in the skin, it was just fabulous, okay? Fabulous. Someone online actually compared this Nausea to the look that Rihanna wears in her J'adore Dior commercial. I hope I said that right because I feel exciting. And she's really kind of giving that dipped in gold vibe, which is really what Jason wanted to give us. And he achieved that. I really do love that like dipped in gold feeling she has herself. Not just the dress, but the doll. She really has this like warm dipped in gold vibe, and I love it. Now, because I did watch the presentation, I am aware that this dress is actually a variation of a previously released dress, which honestly makes sense. We're celebrating 20 years of the W Club. We're kind of going back into the archives. I'm not mad at it. I will tell you what I'm mad about, but we'll talk about that later. So this dress was first introduced in Optic Ver. I think it's Ver. It was an Agnes with red hair, yellow dress. I'll put the image in here. And if I'm not mistaken, this is from 2009. Now, this same look was then recreated for the convention that year on Adamia. And Danya wore this look in black with a pink bow and white hair. Image inserted here. Now, I want you to look at the image really closely, okay? And I want you to really focus on the bottom of the dress, okay? See how it flares out? Really nice and wide. It's probably something only I would have noticed because I've come to realize only I really like evening gowns in the W Club. So only I would have noticed how big the flare of the difference of this dress is compared to the new one. Insert image here. Now, what I love about this dress, starting with the positive, is the fabric. I think when a dress has such a simple silhouette, which Jason mentioned, it's great to pair it with a fabric that is not simple. Now, unlike the previous first two versions of this dress, which were on like a plain yellow and, you know, just a bow, there was a color variation there, and color companionship, I guess you would say. I don't know where that word came out. Maybe I'm looking for a companion in life. Where like the dress was yellow, but the bow was gray. And then the second one, you know, the dress was black, but the bow was pink. So it had like a staple. It had like a standout piece. With this look, we're doing everything in the same color. So the fabric really is able to shine. Now I will say, because the flare of the bottom of the new version is not as big as the flare of the original one, I feel like the bow's a little bit more distracting. I feel like with the original looks, the bow didn't stand out as much because there was balance. The dress was flared out at the bottom and then you had like that big bow on the top. There was a balance there for me. Personally, that's what I would say. I will say that when I first saw the image, the bow was distracting and I didn't love it at first. Well, I'm having all of the noises today. This is why I shoot at like 2 in the morning, because I get distracted very easily. Back to what we're talking about. When I first saw the image and I didn't know about the original looks, the bow was distracting. The bow is still distracting. It's not in a placement that I think is flattering. I also don't think with a new face doll the bow works there. It's just not as fresh. I think the dress and the fabric and the combination of her as a whole is very fresh, but I think the bow throws it off. But if you know me, you know I love a restyle. So I've already imagined different ways to either remove the bow, style the look with other items, and really give it a new life. Now, all is in the hand of the Dolly Guts that I mentioned earlier with Defa Lucy. There are other things happening behind the scenes of the camera, so I cannot confirm nor deny that although I love this girl, I will be, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm being careful with my words lately. What you put out there happens, and what I know is that I want this doll, okay? How she arrives in my hand, I don't know, and that doesn't matter. But I really love this doll, and I would love to have her in my hands. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope I covered it all. You know, we spoke about the beauty of her skin tone with the golden hair. We spoke about the fact that the dress was already made and this is a recreation of it. We spoke about how the bow is distracting. Okay. We spoke about the fact that I was very not professional in this video and did not write down information that needed to be mentioned, but I have the stats on the side for you. Okay. Okay. I did that at least. I think that was it. That's all I wanted to cover. Watch there be something else released next week after I film this, because it's like, I feel like whenever I filmed one, something else comes up, but it's okay. I'm still going to give you a full video for whatever comes up. Don't worry. Don't worry. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to sign off and hopefully see you really soon. Adios.